Next question. To give you a little backstory, I tried my first Jiu Jitsu class last week, and during the rolling part of the class, happened to get matched up with another white belt who has been going to the gym for over a year. During the roll, I got thrashed around a bit and tapped to what I've been told was called a cross collar choke. I ended up getting gi burns on my neck and my face. That's the game right there. As well as getting my lip split.
Get some.
Having trained Muay Thai and sparred for a couple of years, I'm used to physical pain, and that didn't exactly bother me. What did bother me was the marks that were left on my face, which in addition to just not looking good, I can't have because my job requires that I meet with clients face to face, and these clients might make judgments and assume I was in a street fight. I also think the white belt I was rolling with went a little too hard on me, but I don't know enough about jiu-jitsu to determine whether or not people go full speed every roll. I know that in Muay Thai boxing, normally we try to tone down the intensity level for newbies, especially the first time they spar. So my questions are, 1, does jiu-jitsu normally leave you with lots of marks or scrapes on your face? I don't mind occasionally getting them, but can't go home with them after every class. That's A. Or first question. Second question, do people normally go full speed in rolling? And if not, how do I get him to stop without sounding like a giant wimp?
Okay, so number 1, does BJJ normally leave you with lots of marks or scrapes on your face? The answer is no, not normally. Will you occasionally? Yes, you will get dinged up. You'll get black eyes, you'll split your lip, you'll have gi burns on your face, you'll get scratched. Yeah, that's going to happen. But it's not regular.
Yeah.
It's not regular. It's, what do you think, once every 3 weeks?
On your face and neck? Yeah, once every 3 weeks.
Once every 3 weeks.
Maybe 4 weeks.
Yeah, maybe once a month you have something visible while you're wearing a suit presenting to clients.
Given the normal amount of training, like if you're
training once a day.
Straight up competitive, mode 2 times a day, 5 days a week,
then it does.
More, of course.
Then it's more.
But normal training, yeah.
And then the next question is, do people normally go full speed in rolling? And if not, how do I get him to stop without sounding like a giant wimp? So this is actually funny because if you think about it, think about this. He's kind of complaining in a way that the other person was going too hard, right?
Yes.
And yet he didn't tap to this until his face was scraped and got thrashed around. So what I'm saying is, it takes 2 people to escalate a situation, and without knowing it, he escalated the situation because he resisted as hard as he could. He's only been training for a day, and he's going in there fighting like crazy instead of just relaxing and being like, "Hey, I've never trained before. Oh, you're going to choke me out? Cool."
Yeah.
Instead of learning and relaxing, you allow yourself to get caught up in the primal instinct of fighting for your life, which is what happens when people start jiu-jitsu. Yeah. The primal instinct takes over, and it's also ego and the will to win. It takes over, and they just want to go so hard, and they can't believe that this little guy's choking me. They're not going to let it happen. Yeah. So that is actually your ego, and it is also your ego. And I tell people all the time, one of the main reasons people get hurt in jiu-jitsu is because of ego. You either don't tap, number 1, which is just stupid, or you don't say no to rolling with people that you shouldn't roll with. That's it. And when I say don't tap, it's like it has to do with the way you're rolling too, right? I mean, if you're just going to fight everything so super hard because you want to win, well, then you're going to end up having a much higher chance of getting injured. So I fall into that sometimes too. If I had a hurt knee the other day, and maybe like a month ago, my knee was a little hurt, and I was rolling, but I hadn't been doing a lot of stand-up, and all of a sudden I was escalating with whoever, with like Andy or someone, and all of a sudden I was standing, and I didn't want to give up the position, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And as I'm standing there, I'm like, oh, this is your ego right now. You have no reason to sit here and fight on the feet where your knee is actually bothering you. Just don't be an idiot and just pull a guard. And so no big deal, right? Okay, pull guard. It's, whatever.
Did you pull guard?
I did, yeah, because I realized I was being stupid. And if I am, I've been healing and I'm almost good to go, and now I'm going to jeopardize it because I want to stand up and get some, right?
I want to win.
Stupid. Yeah. Stupid. So that is what you have to do. You have to put your ego in check, and that is a huge part of jiu-jitsu. That's one of the things that makes jiu-jitsu so impactful. It's so humbling. Your ego can't withstand it. And despite how hard you fought against this guy in this question, that guy was still going to tap you out. You didn't stand a chance. You didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, my first class versus a guy who'd been rolling for over a year.
Over a year.
Yeah.
You don't stand a chance. You don't stand a chance. Yeah. You don't. So what you want to do is you want to learn. So put your ego aside, relax, talk, and if you get someone that's going, so you don't want to sound like a wimp, that's what gets you hurt. Right. What's cool is when somebody's 58 years old and they're on the mat, and some 22-year-old blue belt that weighs 80 pounds more than them says, "Hey, you want to roll?" And the older dude says, "No, man, I'm good. I'm not rolling with you," because their ego is in check. Yeah. And they realize that's not going to get them anywhere. Yeah. Rolling with this big idiot. Yeah. That's not going to get them anywhere. So they're saying, "No, I don't want to roll with you." Their ego is fine. They're over it. Yeah. So put your ego in check. You won't get marked up a lot, and people will go full speed if you're going full speed. That's the answer. Yeah. The harder you go, the harder the other person's going. You want to go in there and get to a level 7 death match with every person you roll with, you're going to get them. Yeah. You're going to get them, especially with people that are around your level. Yeah. Yeah. Because if the person's a purple belt or a brown belt or a black belt, you can go nuts on them. It doesn't even matter to them. They're just going to be laughing at you. Although you can offend them. And I've seen some black belts and some good jiu-jitsu practitioners that get offended if someone attacks them with fury, like they have a chance. And you go, "Okay, cool. You want to be like that? I'm going to smash you." And I've done that from time to time. You know, where someone just they're in there, they're like, they think it's their day or whatever, and they think they're going to get you. Yeah. And you go, "Oh, you're not going to get me, but now you're going to get got." Yeah. And it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, that tends to happen though. Not if you're well within the confines of just jiu-jitsu stuff, like but if you start to drift towards the edges of etiquette. So like, let's say like if you know, I'm going to spar with you and today's my day, and I start stiff arming you hard and doing that kind of stuff that's it's legal, but it's like,
yeah, for sure,
you shouldn't, you know, it's like that kind of stuff that'll make a higher belt mad, I think. Well,
and you are correct.
It depends,
you are correct. Just someone going level 9 psycho, instead of just being, "Oh, you want to roll? Hey, cool. Hey, we're going to use strength. I get that. We're going to use strength. That's the way it works. That's part of the game. That's why we work out, right? Yeah. I get that we're going to go fast. I get that. That's cool. Yeah. But you want to just go level 9 psycho? Cool. It's not going to work out good. Yeah. And just cruise, man. Have a good time.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm a huge advocate of cruising for sure. But I support like guys going hard.
For sure.
Even like young guys, I mean, like where this guy.
But the thing is, this guy's saying, how does he stop it? Yeah. The way you stop it is by relaxing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm full support of people going hard. Yeah. You know, and I go hard. Yeah. Right?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I train hard for sure. But like if I don't know you, and you want to just go level 9, cool. We'll go level 9. You go. Yeah. But you know,
it's all the spectrum of jiu-jitsu, and also I get it though. Like, you know, he doesn't want marks all over his face all the time. To me, you don't even have to say because of work. You just say, "I don't want marks all over my neck and my face all the time." You know,
that's weird because that's actually what I do want.
You kind of feel it's cool, but you know how like, okay, so I don't wear a mouthpiece anymore, so every once in a great while, like I'll bite my tongue on the side, and then you can't eat for a few days. Not that good. Yeah, it's or you ever get your jaw
kind of exaggerating, but you can't eat for a few days. No, it hurts to eat ketchup. Yes. Next question.
Salad with Italian dressing really hurts.
Stings.
Yeah, that's more. You're right. Eat for a couple. That's exaggerating. But or if you get like a jaw, like this is what I'll get. My common one. You'll get your jaw whacked, like by a knee or something. Incidental
side
stuff.
Hurts real bad.
Yeah, so you can't bite down on that side.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So you kind of can't eat for like a week. You gotta drink through a straw. Like, anyway, but. So yeah, I get it, but just like how you said, man, it's that ego, and I'm in support of ego. It's kind of what gives jiu-jitsu and doing jiu-jitsu its luster. Yeah. Really, the guy going like, what if I roll with you and I tap you out, but you were not going hard at all. I don't want to do that. I'd rather get tapped out by you every single time than tap you out when you weren't going hard. As far as like my jiu-jitsu journey kind of thing. Yeah. But at the same time, like, bro, if you don't want that beef, if you don't want to go with some big guy going hard, bro, just say, sorry, bro. I mean, no disrespect. The main concern is not disrespecting the guy. Like, you know how I've asked people to roll, and I know I'm maybe a little bit more big or whatever than like the average guy.
Right.
So I'll ask someone to roll, and they won't even answer. They'll just look away. Straight up look away. And I'm like, okay, I really got to kind of understand, okay, maybe they just don't want that beef, and they don't know how to say it to me respectfully, you know?
I've never had anyone, like, look away. That's weird.
Yeah. I had a time...
After you asked them?
I asked a guy to roll, and he acted like he didn't hear me and looked away. I went to the next guy I was standing up to. Maybe that kind of didn't help my situation, but whatever. I asked the guy right next to him. Same exact thing. He acted like, he was kind of in a conversation. And then I got a little bit frustrated. I said, so no one's rolling here. That's what I said. So that's what we're doing. Everyone's saying that no one's rolling. And then like someone rolled with me, I think, whatever, it was a little while ago. But
the intimidator.
No, but here's the thing. Of course, at the time, it's a little bit frustrating. And this is kind of part of the point where if they didn't want to roll because maybe whatever, I was too big and they were like small or something like that, then you can tell the guy, hey, look, respectfully, like, I don't want to roll with you. I fear injury. I fear whatever. I fear marks on my face or whatever. Bro, no problem. I dig it and I understand. Even if there's no one else to roll with.
But you're saying have the respect to tell you the truth.
That's the thing.
Because your ego needs the little pump of like they're scared of you.
Wouldn't that be the opposite though? Nonetheless, that's the thing though. Like that's what you have to, in my opinion, you have to address.
Yeah.
Like,
and the other thing about this, and because I may have that being said, like if someone wants to roll with you, if you're a healthy human being, man, get it on. You know what I'm saying,
bro? That's what I was saying when that happened.
I get it if you have a situation, and this is one that I always have to watch out for. Like if I have let's say I'm injured, and let's say I normally do 10 rounds, 9 rounds, 8 rounds. Like that's my normal training.
Dang,
and when I'm injured, I'll be like, okay, I'm only going to do like 4 rounds. I'm only going to do 5 rounds. But then someone's like, let's get one more.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing for me is to say no, because my instinct all the time is like, oh, if someone wants to roll, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get it on. You want to roll with me? Let's get it on.
Yeah.
And
again, this is all part of it. And this is a total opinion or philosophy or whatever, but yeah, that's how it should be. That's what I think too. That's how it should be. You know, like if I ask you to roll and you're just sitting there during the rolling part of training and you're just sitting there essentially waiting for someone to ask you to roll, really, that's what it is.
Right.
You know, and you like turn your head, then why are you here? Like you're only going to roll with the smaller guys?
Now, what if you asked me to roll and I was like, hey man, I got a tweaked knee. I can't roll anymore today, man.
No.
You're good with that?
Fine. Yeah, 100%.
You go home and like, I chalk that up as a win against Jocko.
Yep, that's what I would do, 100%. But yes, no, I'm talking about being selective with who you roll. Like I won't roll with him because he'll tap me out. I won't roll with him because he goes hard and I'll get tired. I don't want to roll with him because he looks scary.
With the toughest people.
Yeah, okay. And again, that's like your philosophy and I agree with that. But if you're like being selective, like that guy's too big and advanced, he might mess me up. Look, if you're concerned about actual injury, that's one thing. But if you're basically the situation that I explained I was in, and this is what I think, given all the information I kind of gathered from the situation, they didn't want to roll with me because I was maybe, I don't know, big or intimidating.
Were you higher belts than them?
Yes.
That's really weird then.
No, but see, and that's what I thought too. I was like, well, maybe that.
Because
then
honestly,
why are you here?
if you're a lower belt and you're smaller, you have absolutely no shame in getting tapped out by a big dude that's a higher belt than you.
That's what I was saying. Because I was talking to my brother and Greg
about it. Did you do a breath check before you went in there or something? Maybe a gi check? Maybe you just smelled really bad. No one wanted to roll with you.
No, bro, because the fact is I did do those checks. I do them every single time. That's why I know. But I talked to my brother and Greg about this.
Yeah.
I was like, I was trying to be understanding, but at the first part of the conversation.
Did they roll with Greg Train?
Oh no, I don't think Greg was there at that
Greg
time.
Train, you might underestimate Greg Train.
Yeah.
You might be like, oh, I'll just roll with this little guy over
Nah,
here.
you see his ears, you're like, I don't want that beef. I was talking to them at, like the next day or something, so they weren't there. But so Greg was saying the same thing as you. He's like, nah, you don't do that stuff. Why are you even here then? You know. But Jade brought up a good point. He said, well, it doesn't matter why you think they should be there. They're there. They pay their membership, and they're there to learn jiu-jitsu. They have the right to train with whoever they want, and they have the right to not train with whoever they don't want to train with.
Charles with the free will.
Right, it's true. And that very thing applies to this guy right here.
Casting etiquette out the window. Jade Charles.
Right, yeah, and that's kind of the counter argument, which is legitimate, by the way. There is the etiquette of the mats. It's like if you go to a 24-hour fitness gym or whatever, you're the guy. You're not. I mean, nowadays they have a sign that says re-rack your weights, but there's certain things that you just got to do for the etiquette.
You know Akbar. You know Akbar.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We came up together.
Akbar, yeah, he's a beast, right? Yes. And he fights at 155, so he'd walk around at 170, strong.
Yeah. And not scared to
not scared. But he and I would have wars, total wars every single time, mayhem, and we had a pact always.
Sure.
Is that I will roll with you no matter what, no matter what is going on. I will roll. I will roll with you. And it was always like he'd come in. For me, it was I'd roll in from either work or I'd be done training with a bunch of people and then he'd show up. Or for him, it was he'd be done with like a crazy sparring session. Yeah. But yeah, so I always told him, no matter what, I'll roll with you. Yeah. And the reason I told him that is because I didn't want to roll with him.
Yeah.
Because it was always freaking hardcore. Yeah. It was always because he moved all the time and he was so strong and so fast and bony.
Yeah.
And his submissions are savage. And he was a guy that I didn't want to roll with him. And that's exactly why I made a pact with him. And I would always roll with him.
You gotta do it. You want that beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a siege to roll with it. And there's guys like that. And, what's funny? Taylor and Andy, by the way, they're like that if you make it like that. But if you don't, well, you might be different because you're kind of in a different position. But when you roll with them, if you start to go light, they'll just go light the whole time, by the way. But if you turn up the heat, then they'll turn up the heat and it's like boom. But yeah, that's a big thing where like some guys, man, you're like, okay, I got to get mentally ready to do this, because they just bring a lot.
Yeah. And it depends how your game matches up with them too.
Yeah.
Your game matches differently with different people.
Yeah, that's true too. Big time. But yeah, this guy, does it normally leave you with lots of marks? Not really. I think you're right. But the more ambitious, hungry white belts you roll with the gi, the more marks
and the more your ego forces you to fight them as if it's a death match. Yeah. Level 9.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. And then do people go full speed? 50-50 maybe?
Well,
as far as
actually,
full speed?
no.
Technically, it's all full speed, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, can you cruise? Like, I always do one warm up round with Andy. No one else. With Andy and Dean won't do a warm up round with me because that's when he attacks me with full strength. Andy is awesome, and we always do one round just to break a sweat. We're just cruising, and then the next round we'll go. And when we go, we go. I guess maybe there's some gradation at the high end of the spectrum. And I will recognize a difference between that. Like, let's say, for instance, you say, I'll know I don't want to let Andy pass my guard today, right? Yeah. Like, for like a legit reason. Like, I think he's got some new offensive move that I see him pulling off, and I go, well, if he gets this position on me today, I'm going to be in a real bad situation. Yeah. So he's not passing my guard. So then he'll feel like I'm going harder. Yeah. Because a lot of times you pass my guard, okay, cool, whatever. Now you're cross side. Now I'm trying to escape that. What you know what I mean? It's that's like when you're competing. When someone is competing with you in jiu-jitsu, especially with the gi, it's so noticeable in a competition how hard they grip everything and how you can't get a millimeter of movement that you don't have to fight for. Yeah. So you can't simulate that level of intensity on the mats. Yeah. That only comes in competition. Yeah. Yeah, very hard. On the training mats.
But in a way, and I talked to Greg about this a lot, where it's kind of, how like someone's being super stubborn, like the day I was talking to him, this is what I was talking about. Like the guy who you get a sweep on him or something, and it's almost like they're not even fighting jiu-jitsu anymore. They just want to get to their feet and stand up because they don't want to play on the bottom, right? these guys. So I was talking to him about that, and that it was kind of frustrating and whatever. And he was like, hey, bro, like that's kind of his job. His job is to like give you an accurate representation of somebody giving you trouble in whatever way.
Yeah, and I was about to tell. That's the same thing that Jade Charles said. Like if you allow that guy to get to your feet, then that's bad. As a matter of fact, I went through this cycle with Dean where I realized that I wasn't giving Dean a good representation because every time he had some good guard passes that he would do from a little bit of a distance, and they were working well. And then I said, well, why don't I just stand up?
Yeah.
And so then I just started standing up, and then all of a sudden he realized he couldn't give me that much space, which messed up that guard pass, which put us back to both getting better because we were improving the techniques that we were each using. Yeah. So sometimes now, have you ever rolled with someone that they're just not doing they're just not engaging?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
they're not engaging.
Yeah.
And that can be a little bit frustrating.
Yes.
And sometimes I do that.
Yeah, but that's part of an overall strategy.
It is part of an overall strategy.
But 100%. Like the guy who's not engaged, again, this goes back to why you're doing jiu-jitsu to begin with, though. Mm-hmm. So let's say if you're doing it like to compete in a tournament, a guy not engaging, that's part of your training right there too.
Yeah, that is.
But if you're like, if this is a fight and if you like all elements, and let's say you're focusing on like a self-defense situation and the guy's not engaging, then you might as well be like, I might as well train with somebody else.
It is good. You're right. It is good because also I've gone with like some wrestlers that they know let's say they're a purple belt in jiu-jitsu and they're doing a 5-minute round with you, and they're just their goal is to just avoid and not get tapped out, and they're not really going to roll jiu-jitsu with you. They're just going to avoid and not get tapped out. They're not going to progress. Like they get the double leg, now they're in your guard, they're going to sit there and hold your hips. So they're going to sit there. So for me, what I have to do, I need to have some moves to get them out of that situation. Got to take some ownership of that stuff.
Yeah, just like the guy who doesn't like tap, who's strong and doesn't tap. So he either forces you to like injure him or let go, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's kind of the same thing where it's a weird dichotomy though, because like, what do you do now? Now it's kind of up to you. The guy. Okay, so if the guy doesn't tap, right, and you kind of get mad, I'm like, tap, you're gonna force me to injure you. You have to take that training as this realistic training where this guy is giving you a very accurate look. Where, sure, you can choose to injure him. Now it's on you. You chose to injure him. Sure, and whatever you chose, especially if he was giving you less of an option. Or you just let him go and understand that, I understand accurately, you got to be honest with yourself, that I would have had that submission. I could have injured him. But don't be all mad because,
that's just your ego.
You should have tapped and gave me that win in training. Like, don't do that.
Cares,
you gotta keep your mind. Wait, but you said who cares? Come on, bro. Come on.
I said that's your ego talking.
I know, but you care, though. I care.
What if someone...
Because one time the reason I was talking to Greg again about a guy I was rolling with who didn't want to tap. And I was mad because he was forcing me to either injure him or he wasn't going to give me that win in training.
So what'd you do?
I let him go. Bro, one time, and it was a white belt, he started going hard. You know how this is just
a white belt? Like what submission was it?
I'm talking about another story now. I totally
okay,
because
I'm just saying, like
Kimura, so the original story I was talking.
That's an idiot not to tap into a Kimura.
Yeah, he was strong, but
so maybe you didn't really have it,
bro. I had it, bro. I'm not weak either. That's the thing. So he's strong, and I'm like, okay, it's to here. It didn't matter. I knew with certainty where it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to injure the person now. And he didn't tap, but Greg made a good point where it's like that's his job. He's giving you an accurate look of what it's like. So at the end of the day, sure, I could have chose to injure him, and then it's partially his fault. But the thing is, I can't account for whether it's his fault or not. I'm accounting for what training I'm getting. By the way, what training I'm getting. It's not a competition. It's not on the street. Switching stories, I'll make it quick, it was a white belt I was rolling with. He was going nuts. And I took it personal, back to what we were talking about earlier.
What belt were you at this time?
Purple.
Dang.
So I was taking it personal. I was like, oh, how dare you try to go nuts on me? Like, just doing stuff. It was all within the confines of etiquette, but he was going a little bit too hard.
Right.
Later, I found out that's just his style, by the way, which is a total innocent thing. But at that time, I was like, no. I was like, oh, okay, you want to go hard? I'm going to go hard. And I injured him. Here's the thing. I injured him with a submission because I went Kimura again.
Yeah.
And not that I did it necessarily so hard that I hurt him, but he had a bad shoulder.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know. He was like, no, it's okay. I had a bad shoulder to begin with. And I was
I was going to say I've never injured anyone with a submission, but I have injured a couple people. One of them. Did I injure you?
Yeah, my rib, man.
Oh, yeah, but that's just rolling,
injured
though,
myself.
right?
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just rolling. No, but I'm saying with a submission locked in, right?
Yeah.
The times I've done it is I can only think of one off the top of my head, and it was a guy, like you said, just had pre-existing shoulder injury that was tap, and then I'm hurt, and then my shoulder's bad.
Right.
Like, bro, you're rolling with me?
Yeah.
Tell me. And it was a black belt, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, come on. Not a guy I'd seen in a while.
Yeah.
But I just go, big, strong guy.
Yeah.
Got the Kimura and put it on, and all of a sudden he's like, and injured.
Yeah.
And I just said, bro, and it was, I know the complete limitations of where it's injury or not, and I was not there yet at all.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I got a bad shoulder. I should have told you. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually why I felt really guilty, because I was like, oh, you want to go hard? So I did it hard. I wasn't trying to hurt him, but if he had a bad shoulder, which he did, I understand it hurt him, and that doesn't surprise me that it hurt him. And I shouldn't have went that hard to begin with. As far as like going, I know how to do Kimura good.
Yeah, and just kind of to clarify my earlier statements, like when somebody goes level 9 on me, that doesn't mean I'm like out to I just apply level. If they're at level 9, I'm going to apply level 9.1 back to them and put them in position. And actually, usually I do something to them that forces them to calm down. Mm-hmm. Like I'll get across side and be like, keep spazzing, keep going nuts right now. I'm just gonna be here, cruising. Yeah,
at level 9.1, but just
level 9.1, but completely cruising. Yeah, because they can't move. They're freaking bucking and going crazy and getting nuts, and then you're just sitting there.
Yeah. Check. But yeah, I still feel guilty about that day. I'll never do it again.